Okay, good. This time is for real. All right. The title of today's discussion is If You Still Need Signs, You Don't Know Who You Are. Reality bends when you walk. We're going to talk about reality from a whole bunch of different perspectives today. All right. So let's get right into it. We're going to start with John 4:48. John 4:48. Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will not believe. Okay. It's a message from Yeshua, from Jesus. Okay. So you keep needing miracles to believe because you don't yet believe that you are the miracle. We keep asking the sky to crack open and prove to us that God is real. We beg the universe for signs, miracles, and confirmations because we haven't yet remembered who we are. When you've forgotten that you are the miracle, you start searching for magic outside of yourself. You think the mountain has to move for you to have faith, not realizing that your very breath is a testimony of the divine. You've been conditioned to believe in separation, to think the sacred is far away, and that God's favor is earned through desperation. Okay? But this verse, right, it wasn't said to actually shame anyone. It was said to wake you up and to remind you that the kingdom is within, right? It's one of my favorite quotes from Gospel of Thomas. If you believe that the kingdom is in the sky, then you'll think the birds are closer to you. Anytime that we believe in the illusion of separation, we start to feel further away from the divine. If you think that the divine is in your church, you think the priests are closer. If you think he's in the sky, you think people that meditate or know scripture more are closer. But because the kingdom is within you, nobody can be closer to the kingdom than you. All right. So we chase wonders because we haven't made peace with the wonder we already are. We are like mirrors covered in dust, waiting for some external light to shine, forgetting that the light has always been burning from the inside out. You don't need the world to bend to prove that you are worthy. You need only to remember the miracle is not the healing, the money, the relationship, or the sign in the sky. You standing in belief, rooted in identity, walking in unseen faith, you are the miracle that heaven has been waiting to reveal. You are the miracle. It's always been you. It's always been within you. It's always been in your identity. It's always been in who you are being. You are the miracle. And the moment that we take our consciousness off of the external world, believing that the external world is somehow separate than us, it can somehow show us validation, it can somehow wake us up, you will always feel like you're separated from the source. Because the truth is that the divine is within you. You are the walking miracle. And then when you actually turn your consciousness to within you, you actually focus on the true temple. You don't just show reverence when you walk inside some kind of building with a cross in it that calls itself a church. You realize that you are the temple. The kingdom is within you. And every time you go within yourself, you are communing with the Most High. This is a time for reverence. Everywhere that you walk, everywhere that you stand is sacred ground because you are sacred. This is when you can reawaken the world around you to actually bend to your will, right? You are the miracle. You don't need anybody else to be the miracle because you are the miracle. All right, so the waters within. Deuteronomy 31:8, the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. The Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. Peace is not passive, all right? Peace is not passive. It is the power that parts the seas. When the soul is still, the world begins to move. You were told to hustle, to chase, to prove. But God said, I go before you. Not behind, not even beside, but before. So why are you panicking when the outcome is already wrapped in your name? Inner stillness is not laziness. It is alignment. And alignment is louder than any scream. It calls forth everything meant for you by simply becoming a clear channel. Still waters don't beg for rain. They reflect heaven. All right. So where in your life are you not allowing that stillness of who you really are to come forward? Right. I was having a very interesting conversation earlier today, and we were talking about visualization and different ways to visualize and different issues that people face when they're trying to visualize. All right. And a lot of it stems from just our inability to confront ourselves. So let's put it like this, right? Visualization is your superpower. We can sit down right now and I would challenge you, can you close your eyes right now and can you visualize what you want? Now, the first issue that you might encounter is, well, when I open my eyes, I can see trees clearly and colors clearly. But in my imagination, I can't clearly, all right, I can't clearly draw and design the image of what I want. And then I would challenge you. I would say, okay, well, how aware are you of everything around you as you're walking throughout your day? How often do you truly sit and stare and wonder at the life around you? How often do you look at the trees? How often do you look at the room that you are in and just admire it? How often do you look at the sky? How often do you look at water or whatever you're doing? Are you simply just running through life unconsciously, or are you consciously taking moments to enjoy life? Because what actually happens is when you actually take a time to sit in that stillness, you start building up a mental storehouse of images. And you can call on these images in your imagination and build the things that you want. All right, now let's say that's not your problem. Cool. What's another problem that people can have is sometimes, right, we can imagine things. However, when we really start to try to move things and control things, there are certain things that feel out of our control. It might be difficult to move certain images, to alter them, to bring certain images in, move them out freely, or you might be able to bring up the image, but it won't go exactly where you want it to go. Okay? Now we have to also understand a little bit of psychology to understand why this problem is there. It's a problem that I had as well. This often stems from us having certain things in our life that we feel are more solid than us, that we feel are holding us back. Certain things that we do not want to confront, that we think are so solid that they're unmovable. It might be a relationship with your parents. Okay? It might be your opinion of women or men. Okay? There might be certain things in your life that you just struggle with thinking of them differently, right? If someone comes to you and they are in a state of sickness, can you easily see them in a state of health? Okay? If someone is doing you wrong, in your mind, can you easily picture them as not being the person that's doing you wrong, as someone who's actually doing right by you, right? This often shows that we have a hard time letting things go. Okay? If you struggle in that area, well, then it's simply a time for you to talk to your higher self, go within. And one of the things that actually helped me, kind of going into consult mode right here, but one of the things that has helped me is when you go into your imagination, instead of trying to force things, simply tell yourself, all right, we're just going to experiment with some images and we're going to see which ones feel right. And there are certain things that might feel better than others to visualize. There are certain ways that might feel better to visualize. One of the revelations that I had when simply asking my higher self, like, hey, look, just help me visualize in a way that's actually beneficial to me, right, is naturally, this was something I didn't really notice until I just relaxed and allowed it to come, was that a lot of my visualizations were coming around my gut area, my heart area, right? I was visualizing, and those visualizations felt attached to my midsection. And when I simply moved the visualizations up to my actual mind, to where I'm actually perceiving the images from a higher place, it's very easy for me to latch on to visions, for me to see them as real, right? Now, it might not make sense to someone, but this is just the benefit of going within yourself and asking yourself, like, okay, look, how should we visualize to get the best results? It's going to be a very intimate conversation with yourself. So this is why it's very important to understand that you are the temple. And so whenever you are going within yourself, you are going into sacred grounds. All right? Take your time to do that, right? Ask yourself the questions that you have and actually relax and allow yourself to receive those answers. Okay? So number 2, you are the cause and not the echo. All right, so stop begging the mirror. Life reflects what you are and not what you want. So you look into the world like it owes you something, okay? But the world is a mirror and not a vending machine. You press buttons with your vibration and not your desperation. You cannot frown at your reflection and expect it to smile back. right? You can't be bitter towards the external world and expect it to be kind and loving to you, right? You can't see yourself as normal and expect miracles, okay? Don't ask the outer to do what your inner hasn't become. If you want to see miracles in your life, then see yourself as a miracle. Start looking at the miracle of everything that's surrounding you. The miracle of the trees, the miracle of birds, the miracle of your family, the miracle of everything that you've endured to get you to this point in your life. If you want to see prosperity, look at the abundance that you already have. Okay? Look at your fridge. Look at your relationships. Okay? If we want to attract things into our life, then we have to make sure that we're matching what we want. And you always do, because you could never be anything less than divine. Could never be anything less than source. Right? Where we go wrong is that we start looking at things or looking out in the mirror, hoping to get things, and we forget the essence of who we are. We start putting things on a pedestal, thinking that the prosperity is outside of you when the prosperity is within you. You're the source of it. And once you open your eyes to the prosperity that you already are, you can allow it to flow into your life a lot easier. Okay? So don't ask the outer to do what your inner hasn't become. If you want the world to kneel, then you must first rise. Right? This is the concept of just making yourself larger than the world and remembering that you are the sun. Everything that's circling around you is just a planet. It could not exist without you. It follows you. Everything is the all-seeing eye, watching you, saying, what are your expectations? What are your beliefs? What do you want? And mirroring those things right back to you. Okay? So if you want the world to kneel, you cannot shrink yourself to the size of your problems. You cannot look at things outside of you like they are your source, like they are God's, right? I am God and there is no other. I am God means you are. How do you identify yourself? You say what you are, right? The name of God is I am that I am. So anytime you declare yourself to be something, you are using the Lord's name. So we have to understand that we are the sun. Everything else around you is just a speck. Right? It's following your lead. Right? So if you want the world to kneel, you must first rise. If you want love, become it. Here is the beautiful part about that. You could never be anything less than love because you are God, because you are source, because you are the divine. How could the God within you, how could you be anything less than love when that's your natural nature? How could you be anything less than prosperity if the kingdom is within you? How could you be anything less than abundance if the kingdom is within you? You've never been unloved. You've been remembering who you are incorrectly. You thought the love was coming from the external world, but the external world was just a mirror. So you thought these people were abusing you and they were betraying you and they weren't loving you correctly because you were trying to put your sense of self-worth in the mirror. You were trying to validate yourself from the external world, but you can never do that. You can never do that. You can never rely on the external world for validation because you are source. And if you're looking for validation in the external world, it says, okay, if you're looking for validation, something must be missing within you, so let's make it match outside of you. And so you just get a whole bunch of experiences that keep wanting you to chase validation until you come back to who you are and you realize that, shit, I'm the only person who can validate myself. And once I do that, once I remember who I am, now the world reflects that, right? As I validate myself, the world validates me. Isn't that crazy, right? The more that I need the world to validate me, the more I need people to do this thing, the more I need money, the more I need abundance. What I'm saying is I'm forgetting that all those things are within me. I want to play the game as someone who is making false idols of the external world. And if I play that game, the game says, okay, cool. Reality says, okay, cool, let's mirror you. But the moment that you realize that you are the game, that you are reality, right? Damn, I was just trying to get love from the external world. The world can never give me that, right? I have always been loved because God has always been within me. I've always been source. I've always been the divine. I could never be anything less than love. I've been remembering myself incorrectly. And now from this present moment, not only do you change your future, you change your past. All of a sudden, you relate to your past differently. All of a sudden, you think about your future differently. All of a sudden, everything must change because of who you're being right now. Okay? If you want wealth, embody it. Remember who you are correctly. You've never been in lack. The bank account was the lie. The God within you is infinitely abundant. You've just been remembering yourself incorrectly. You've been trying to tie your validation to the mirror. How crazy is that? You're trying to tie your sense of self-worth to just a reflection of you. So if I'm looking for worth out there in the reflection, it's just going to reflect back at me more opportunities that make me want to look for my worth more. I'm always in a state of lack if I'm looking for the mirror to show me something. Right? The same way I've been doing all these techniques and affirming, but reality hasn't changed. What's the story you're telling? I'm telling the story of, okay, I'm doing all this shit, but nothing's changing. And so the mirror says, yes, cool. You have to validate yourself. You have changed, and reality is changing. Point blank, period. You are changing, and reality must change. This is law. All right? So you are not here to get. You are here to express. You're not here to get anything. There's nothing that can validate you because you're all that there is. Right? You're source. You're infinite consciousness. You have everything. So there's not one single thing that you could receive here that could remind you fully of who you are. The only thing that could remind you fully of who you are is going within yourself and giving yourself everything that you want and allowing yourself to actually walk through this linear experience and receive those things. Okay? So number 3, the mirage of longing. John 4:48, unless you people see signs and wonders, you will not believe. This is our ego, right? This is that human part of us that, oh, I have to see it to believe it. Okay? But most of the most powerful things that you know about, you can't really see them. Right? The most powerful thing that you know, your consciousness, your mind, you can't see it, right? You have to get into the know. All right, let me back up, bro. This is a problem with a lot of the programming in the world, right? Is that we're constantly pushed down the path of not trusting things, of not even being able to trust the things that we can see. And because we can't trust the things that we can see, people get into this spiritual space late in their life. And it's a challenge to try to trust something that you cannot see, right? Most people can't fully trust their parents, can't fully trust the teachers, can't fully trust their spouses, their own kids, their own family, their own friends. They can't trust the politicians they voted for, right? We have a lack of trust, which is natural. This is how the system is built, right? And so it becomes very difficult for us to lean into the faith of this higher power, this source of who you are. And this is where the work is. When we say faith without works is dead, right? This is what we're talking about. Faith does take work. The same way that if you go to the weight room today, you've never lifted a weight, it's gonna be difficult until you get used to it over time. Right? Trusting someone, right? This takes work. It takes effort. Having faith, this takes work. This takes effort. Being disciplined in anything, it takes work. It takes effort. Right? And that's why I say, when you come into this space and most people are just like, okay, I just want this one big thing. This is a way of life. When you walk through this spiritual path and you get to this manifestation space and you want to change your life, you have to understand that every single moment you're in is an opportunity. You're creating. Every thought, every belief, every expectation is creation. Every moment is ripe, pregnant with the next moment. And you are the moment. You are the moment. Everything around you is here, but you are the moment. And your expectations, your assumptions right now are just being projected outside of you, and you're walking and you're confronting yourself over and over and over again. Make every moment about decreeing things in your life, about saying how you want everything to go, right? Not just that one big financial thing, not just that one person, but how do you want lunch to go? How do you want that conversation with your parents to go? How do you want that run to go? How do you want this meeting at work to go? Right? You make this part of your life and you build trust with yourself. And building trust with yourself leads to trust with source, because you are source. Okay? This is the only way to do it. Or else it's going to be very difficult, especially if you are heavily programmed from the world, not trusting anyone, and then coming here and not really understanding what faith is, right? So Longing is a lie that is dressed in spiritual robes. It sounds holy, but its root is doubt. Longing says, I hope it will come someday. Faith says, it is already mine in spirit. Now I align in form. Some of you are addicted to waiting for signs instead of becoming the sign, right? This is why Jesus, your I am awareness, right? Representing your I am awareness. This is what Jesus represented, right? Said you keep needing miracles to believe because you don't yet believe that you are a miracle, which you are. But God didn't design you to wait for proof. He designed you to walk in revelation, right? So the identity that attracts, Neville Goddard quote, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And keep in mind, when we're talking about feelings, we're talking about a knowing, okay? We're talking about a knowing, not an emotion. Faith isn't an emotion. Knowing is not an emotion. Knowing is simply a assumption, a mere assumption. Is what Neville said, quote unquote, mere assumption, mere. The same as you assuming your age, right? You could have been 25 yesterday. You could be 26 today. It's an assumption. It's just a statement. It's just a knowing. There's no emotion, right? If you feel down, it doesn't make you less 26. If you feel up, it doesn't make you more 26, right? You are simply that which you say that you are, point blank, period, right? Completely detach. Well, okay, let me give a different definition of detachment, okay? Of detachment and allowing things to flow. When you want something, you have to make the assumption that you have it. And then you have to go about your life normally and decree that everything is working out for you. And when we talk about detachment, this is what I'm talking about. You allow the 3D version of you to experience life just as is, but you keep the consciousness that everything is working out for you. Point blank, period. Meaning, you don't suppress any emotion, you go through it. You don't suppress any experience, you go through it. You don't tie your quote unquote vibration to some feeling. You know that as source, you are here to experience life fully. You detach from thinking that there is something that you quote unquote need to do, some way that you need to feel, some way that you absolutely need to think to get to what you want. You simply go through life. An assumption is simply a knowing. It is like your name. The same way that you knew things were just not going to work out. Now you just know things are always going to work out and you still go about your life differently. This is detachment. You don't sit and make idols of things. You don't sit and make those things bigger than you. You have the desire. You accept it as true. It's unfolding. It's happening. The moment I have it, the moment I desire it, it is then projected in front of me into my linear experience and I walk down the path of getting it. Point blank, period. This is a knowing, an assumption, right? That's what an assumption is. Your name does not change whether you're consciously remembering it right now or not. Your age doesn't change. None of these things change, okay? They just are. They're parts of you. So the moment you come into consciousness, boom, I am the divine, I am source. It's always working out for me. Now you walk through life differently, right? You still experience life the same, but you walk through life with a different assumption, knowing of who you are. This is detachment, right? You detach the need to have to try to monitor your feelings all day. That's exhausting. If emotional feelings were the secret, then everybody that walked around happy and feeling great would have everything they want. We know that's not true, right? If good people got good things and that was the secret, then we would know. We know that's not true as well. We can name a whole bunch of quote unquote good people that don't have shit. You can probably think of certain people that you don't quote unquote judge as good, as you judge as negative, that have a lot of things that you want. So what is the difference? The difference is your expectation. It's your knowing. It's how do you believe the world treats you? All right, this is the truth of your experience. Reality is you. What you receive is just a reflection of who you're being, what you're expecting. Okay? So, your identity is the seed. Your world is the harvest, okay? Your world. What is your world? Your world is your being. Your world is you. When you look out in the world, all you are seeing is who you are being. That's it. All you are seeing is who you are being. The world is you. Okay? You don't grow fruit by begging the tree. You become the kind of ground that the tree chooses to root in. Okay? So embodiment is your magnet. When you assume the state, you do not hope, you inhabit. You wear the reality like skin, and the world being your shadow, being your echo, being your divine mirror, it reshapes itself accordingly. Right? We no longer look at the world and say what we quote unquote think it is. We always say what it truly is based on our knowing of who we are, which is what we want it to be. Right? You see things, you call things that are not seen, that are invisible, as if they are real, as if they are there. All right? We never speak against what we want. You never think against what you want. You only see reality the way that you want to see reality. And since reality is you, you only see yourself the way that you want to see yourself. You only see yourself as a miracle if you want to see reality as a miracle. If you want to receive miracles in your life, you only look at miracles. Everything is a miracle. You wake up, that is a miracle. You can pick up your phone and talk, this is a miracle. You have food in the cabinet, you have money to go buy food, this is a miracle. I don't care if you have $1, $10, $100, it's a miracle. You being able to get in your car and have gas and drive, this is a miracle. It's all a miracle. And when you start looking at your life as a miracle, when you start becoming the miracle, waking up to the fact of who you are, this is when life changes. It doesn't change before. You cannot be validated. If you're looking out in the world and you're saying, man, show me that I'm doing the right thing. It's looking at you and it's saying, okay, you need me to show you something, meaning you have something missing within you. So let's make it match on the outside, because reality is just a mirror, as within, so without. As within, so without, as above, so below. The kingdom is within you. Reality is within you. Everything is a mirror of you. There is nothing out there. Nothing can validate you. Nothing has meaning out there. It's just a mirror, and sometimes the reflection it looks off. Doesn't mean it is off. It just looks off. Right now, I'm raising my right hand. It looks like my left hand. It looks off, right? But it is right. It looks different, but it is right. Sometimes things don't look like they're going the right way, but they always are. The only way that they could not be is if you look out there with your divine, infinite, powerful ass, and you say, oh, it's not working out for me, because thou shalt decree a thing and it shall be. Whatever you say it is, that's what it is. Your only job is to walk through life knowing everything works out for you. And by knowing everything works out for you, you look at the world and you decree that everything is working out for you. And then it is. With the moment that we start making up stories, these pitiful stories, right? These stories of self-deprecating stories, right? Just breaking ourselves down, just making ourselves a victim to everything. Oh, this person won't treat me right. All right, these people always get the jobs. Right? Men like this, women are like this. The economy these days, the housing market. When we start making these stories, we are just building reality. You are decreeing reality, and that reality, everything around you says yes. Okay? Everything around you says yes, and then it starts to shift and change to meet you where you are, to meet you in your role of a victim. Reality just says yes. But the moment you say it doesn't, I don't care what anybody else says, I only see life the way I want to see it, now reality can shift you. It's all about you. If you're waiting for signs, you're not going to get them. If you are waiting for signs, you will not get them. But once you become the sign, you become the miracle, right? I no longer look for miracles. I am the miracle, right? You sit in the miracle of your life. You look around and you see miracles everywhere, and you're still begging for signs. What in the room around you right now is not a miracle? This technology that you're watching, this is a miracle. The chair you're sitting on is a miracle. Everything about your life, just the fact that you're breathing oxygen today, that your parents laid down and your ass popped out, crying. And now you are a grown adult, right? This is a miracle in itself. But you still look for signs. Why? Right? Are we that small of faith? Okay? Are we that small of faith? This is why it specifically says, right? John 4:48, unless you people see signs and wonders, you will not believe. Right? So, stop trying to attract what you want. Start embodying who you are when you already have it. Take your mind off the external world. It's an illusion. It's a mirror. It's meaningless, okay? Take your consciousness off the external world and realize that everything out there is within you. And put all your focus on you. Become selfish. Finally. Some of you have been too selfless. That's why your life isn't the way you want it. Because you put everybody ahead of you. Everybody's ahead of you. Your parents ahead of you. Your friends ahead of you. Your spouse ahead of you. Everybody's ahead of you, right? Would it sound wrong if I say you even put your kids ahead of you? Triggering as that may sound, but how can you be good for anyone if you're not good to yourself? How can you create the environment for a good relationship with anybody if you don't have a good divine relationship with yourself? And now when we talk about this on a whole nother level and we get to reality creation, this is what the program of the world does. It tries to get you to put people first before you in all kinds of ways. It even wants you to put other people in front of you in importance. We think the politicians are more important than us. We will go out and we will argue down other people to go vote for somebody that we don't know because we believe that this person is going to change our life. If the wrong person, the person you don't want gets in there, you will spend the next 4 years complaining about how they're ruining your life, just giving your power to them, just making this false idol. All of a sudden, everything they do is wrong. It makes your life worse. You've aged another 10 years. They only been in office for 4. We are just naturally trained to make others our false idols. We have to pull that energy back within ourselves. Everything is meaningless. No one has power over you. All right? Another triggering thing. Nobody can manifest for you. Nobody can pray for you. You want to know why you think that you can ask people to pray for you? Because this is why Jesus said, if you think that heaven is in the sky, you'll think the birds are closer. If you think that the kingdom, that God is somewhere out there, you'll think somebody can get closer to you. Because they know scripture more, because they pray more, all of a sudden you think they're higher in spiritual rank than you. Hey man, please pray for me. And then you go back and now all of a sudden you have faith. Now all of a sudden you say, because this person is praying for me, it must go right. Because their life seems to be so well from the outside. And they seem to meditate more. And they pray more and they know scripture more. So now all of a sudden you ease into faith a little bit and you feel like something happened and you give them the credit. It was simply your faith. It was simply your assumption. You just gave them power. And through them, all of a sudden you have faith now. Right? Like they're your God. But they're not. They're just another reflection of you. No one has power over you unless you give it to them. This is what Jesus said to Pontius. When Pontius Pilate was saying, hey, bro, don't you know that I had the power to crucify you? I had the power to kill you. You would have no power if it wasn't given to me or given to you from the Father, from above, meaning from your mind. If you do not give something power, it has no power over you. Guess what this also goes for? When we talk about detachment, this also goes for your thoughts. You can allow your thoughts to run free unless you are identifying with certain things that you do not want and you're believing that those are you. You can allow your emotions to do whatever unless you are giving them power over you and saying, oh, if I don't feel good, this means I'm not in alignment. I can't get it anymore. You can even allow people outside of you to vent and say whatever they want unless you are giving them power. Right? It's always about you. It's never about anyone else, right? So if you're going to give them power, then avoid them. But you always have the choice. There's nothing outside of you. There's no devil ruining your life. There's no strongest soldier class that you signed up for that you have a much difficult time now than everybody else. No. Life is just a perfect reflection. But when we constantly give our power up to these narratives outside of ourselves, when we start thinking that, that other things are running our life, right? We go away from our natural godhood. We put on the victim identity and the world responds and says, okay, cool. You want to be a victim, we'll let you. So it's always about you. It's about your relationship with yourself. Simply you versus you. Okay? So Psalm 46, be still and know that I am God. Know that your I am awareness is God. Know that you are the divine. Know that source is always listening, closer than your breath, closer than your thoughts. God is always with you. God is always listening. No one can be closer to God than you because God is within you. No one can be closer to your reality than you because God is within you. Okay? Rest is not weakness. Faith. When I talk about rest, I'm talking about faith. Okay? So rest is not weakness. It is royalty. A king doesn't prove his power with panic. He simply speaks and it is done. Stillness is not inactivity. It is spiritual certainty. Call this the Sabbath, right? On the seventh day, Most High rested. Okay, so the moment that you rest in I am, the universe begins to arrange itself because the divine doesn't move in noise. He moves in knowing. When you trust that what is yours cannot pass you by, you stop performing and you start receiving. When you trust that what is yours cannot pass you by, you stop performing and you start receiving. All right? So Neville Goddard quote, dare to live as though the wish were already fulfilled. You don't beg the mirror. You become what you want to see. And then the mirror bows and reality responds. Okay, stop waiting for the world to give you permission to be who God already said you are. Let your stillness preach louder than your striving ever could. You are not the echo. You are the word made flesh. Okay? You are the word made flesh. You are source. You are the divine. You are all that there is. Right? No one can control your reality. Nobody has any power or authority. No one has an opinion outside of you. You are all that there is. You're the Alpha, you're the Omega, you're the beginning, you're the end. You are the cause and the effect. In your story, in this reality, you are the author, you are the reader, and you are the main character, as well as the editor whenever you don't like the story. Stop looking at reality as some solid, immovable object and start looking at it as simply a projection from within you. Simply a reflection from within you that is lovingly trying to show you who you are being. When we say that God came down here to experience life, and the unfolding of reality is meant to introduce God to himself, what we mean is that you came down here to experience reality, and the unfolding of life from within you pushes you into the inner knowing of who you are. And this is how loving that source is within you, that you don't have to accept the Most High, but all of your beliefs and assumptions will be made manifest in front of you. And they're all just meant to show you who you are, to remind you of your divinity, to wake you up to the fact that, oh, whoa, hold up. Everything that I'm expecting is coming true. Everything that I'm knowing within my soul, like not my hopes, but my knowing, my assumptions, my beliefs, these are all just coming to life in front of me, one by one. In the moment that you wake up to that, you start to play the game as the main character again. You pick up your remote and you actually have fun with the game. Because now you're never a victim. You remember who you are. Huh? So quit forgetting who you are and remember who you are. Remember how divine you are. All right. And I appreciate y'all for joining. My sister's in town. I'm finna go hang out with her for a little bit. But leave y'all with some affirmations before we go. All right. I see you all as beautiful, as divine, as perfect, as powerful. Right, as in alignment with everything that you want. You are powerful beyond your knowledge. You are source. You are an unlimited being. Your only limitations are the limitations that you create within your mind. You have full power, full control over everything, and everything that you want is already here. You already have it. It has been made manifest in front of you. You just have to walk through this 3D linear reality to experience yourself more until you hold it. But it's already yours. You have it. Know that. Trust that. Fall in the faith of that. All right? And breathe easier. Breathe deeper. Enjoy life more. All right? You don't have to control your emotions. All right? You have to control your thoughts. You simply identify with the ones that are you. You detach. You enjoy life to the fullness of who you are and watch everything fall into your lap. Because this is the life you deserve. You are source. You deserve everything. You deserve everything that you want. Right? Everything that you want, you deserve it, and you will have it. Right? If you do not see yourself as divine, as beautiful, as a God, it's okay. Right? Because I see you as that way anyway. So I know that it must be true. Okay? I know it must be true. Right? Like always, this document will be on YouTube. All the discussions are on YouTube. You can always check them out. You can download the document. Do whatever you want with it. And then if y'all do want coaching, it's a Calendly link in the bio. You can always check that out, right? But y'all have a beautiful, 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 prosperous evening. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay divine. And until next time, God willing, peace. Talk to y'all later.